Welcome to We're Talking Bears,
where we bring you the latest in the Chicago Bears experience.
I'm Uncle,
Nephew,
and I'm Son,
and we're talking Bears.
Welcome back to We're Talking Bears for the second half of our 2024 schedule show. We're going to go ahead and dig right into it. We left off at the bye week, and we're going to jump right in after the bye week. Hey, if you enjoy us, like and subscribe. We're trying to build to 500 subscribers, so please get in there and like and subscribe for us. How you guys doing today?
All good, man. All good. Ready to get underway with this second half of the schedule review and see what our matchups are going to be looking like against these teams post the 2024 draft. What you think? Up next, we got Week 8 on the road. October 27th, we're taking on the Commanders, whose schedule last year was 4-13. They did pretty well in the draft, if I'm not mistaken. What do you guys think they'll look like matching up against us?
I'm not afraid of the Commanders. They've packed on, but they've also lost a lot of people. So a lot of back and forth, and who knows what they're really going to look like. They've got they're a team in turmoil. By week 8, we should be rolling. I don't think they should pose any threat. But they had a relatively good defense, but they ejected, obviously, Sweat and Chase Young. They ejected some of their best defensive weapons. And I don't know if they have an identity. What do you think, Son?
Man, it's going to be really tough to tell what this team is going to look like, honestly. They have essentially remade their entire roster. In free agency, they have one of the largest free agent classes of any team. And draft-wise, they drafted who was widely regarded as the second best quarterback in the draft in Jaden Daniels, who, he put up some really eye-popping numbers at LSU. Throwing to superior talent given, but still he did the job, and he's got some good wide receivers out there as well. So Jaden Daniels could make some noise. This Washington team, with all its additions, could make some noise. They've got guys like Austin Eckler and Bobby Wagner in their free agent class, along with some extra beef on their offensive and defensive lines. They added Johnny Newton to go with already a crowded 3 DT room. So we don't even know what this team's going to look like when they come out. So it's hard to say, but it would be really, really discouraging if they were able to compete with us, like you said, at week 8. A team with that many new parts, it's got to take time to gel. And if we're still struggling to gel in week 8, then that's a problem. So we should roll past these guys.
Yeah, I also think, you look at, there's a lot of losses. I mean, they gained some stuff on the defense, but kind of like what we used to be, where we gain a little and lose a little and gain a little and lose a little. It's hard to get traction doing that. It's also hard to keep the locker room happy because it's not making sense. Like, I'm going to kick up. They also gave up Kendall Fuller, who's still a good cornerback at this phase. And when you're not a winning team, you kind of want to do what Poles has done, is you want to empty out from the bottom. I mean, obviously, when he walked in, he had to get rid of big contracts, so he took off the top. By letting go of Mack and Smith and who was our other edge that set the record? Why am I forgetting his name?
Robert Quinn.
Yep. Robert Quinn. So you took off the top, right? But then after that, he did a steady diet of getting rid of the bottom and raising the bar constantly, and that's what you have to do. And I don't know what the Commanders have done. This is we'll find out. We'll find out if they know what they're doing.
Hodgepodge. This is for them. This is like year 1 of the rebuild. So we'll see what they look like with their rookie quarterback. But I would hope that we are a little further along than these guys are in our rebuild. We've built through the draft. We've built the right way. We've added a lot of really impressive talent, Montez Sweat, DJ Moore, through trades. And then we're supposed to have a better quarterback than them based on their draft position. So we should win this game. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I got to buy this game. I got his win, so we should be sitting at like 4-3 from what we talked about last time. I say maybe 5-2, but 4-3 would be acceptable. because I'm with you. I think we should be a little bit further along in the rebuild. I think sometimes with us, I think for me personally, I don't want to be too over optimistic, but I think we're a better team than they are. I'm not really worried about this game. But again, with some of the recent history of the Bears, I think sometimes people are hesitant to want to call games W's when we've seen things maybe look promising and then fall apart. But I've got us coming into week 8 off the bye week with a W against the Washington Commanders. And then in week 9, we are back on the road again in Arizona facing the Cardinals, who were 4-13 last season. They were able to pick up Marvin Harrison Jr. in the draft. Not sure how you guys feel that'll help them measure up against us. What's your take on this? Uncle, you go first.
Well, I'm going to just go ahead and say Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to help that offense. I mean, we definitely flogged them when they came to Soldier Field. That was fun. It was fun whipping them. Justin Fields had a day. And again, with a depleted team, with this restocked team, picking up, they'll have more offensive prowess. Having Marvin Harrison out there for Kyler Murray is going to do nothing but help him, which was smart moves. And they made a few other good moves during the offseason. However, I don't think they've done anything where they could even have caught us for who we were when we beat them at the end of last year, much less catch the team that we're going to field next year. So I'm going to say these 2 weeks, this should be building. We should be building back-to-back, building toward being a 5-6, maybe even a 7-win team when we hit the thick of, facing back-to-back NFC North and then the NFC champions. So it's going to get tough, and we really need to build some wins, kind of like when you're in school and you need to get some quick and easy A's at the beginning of the semester to go ahead and make sure you're going to be able to hold that GPA. This is a time to get some quick and easy wins right through the heart of the middle of the schedule, and we have to beat these teams. We can't let these teams rebuild on us. We're supposed to be at the end of our rebuild, not the absolute end, but nearing the end. And so, yeah, absolutely, we have to beat the snot out of these guys because they couldn't play with us last year, and I don't believe they've added as much firepower as we have. Period.
Indeed, cuz what you think?
So I do agree that I don't think they've done enough to catch us in terms of turning their roster, because that was a pretty depleted roster that we faced last year. It was not one of the better teams in the league, as evidenced by them picking 4th and in the top 5 for the second straight year. So this is a bad team, but I will say this: they did add 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and 4 third-round picks. Included in those are some pretty impressive names. So Marvin Harrison Jr. is the obvious one. He was probably the player in the draft this year that I thought was the best player overall at their individual position. I'm a little biased towards wide receivers, so fault me for that. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a needle mover. He is a difference maker in every facet of the game. So that's a big deal that he pairs that quality of a receiver with an experienced 6th year Kyler Murray. He was coming off of a serious knee injury when we played him. He had only been back for 2 or 3 weeks. He had already had a really impressive game against the Eagles, I want to say the week before he played us. And this was a team that kind of knew that it was done. The season was over and they were just accepting that. So we might see a better version of Kyler Murray. We might see a better version of the Cardinals as a whole. And then, another player that they got in the draft that I want to highlight, Darius Robinson. He was one of my favorite draft stories. He's a guy who has probably the size and strength and athleticism of J.J. Watt. And he played interior and rushed from the edge. He's as good of a run stuffer as he is physical in the pass game. So he didn't have eye-popping stats, but that's just kind of the way that the college game can go sometimes in terms of your rotation with other players and things like that. In the NFL, that's not going to be a problem. He's going to be their star on the D-line, and this is a team that had J.J. Watt for most of the latter years of his career. So if someone in the building still remembers how to do something with that, then that could be a problem. And then also two players from your alma mater, Illinois, an offensive tackle and a tight end. Both of those players were pretty highly regarded. They both went in the third round. Some felt they could have been second round picks. So they've made some moves. They've made some moves. So we can see, I guess, what the difference is in having, that extra year of development and building your squad that the Bears do, or to see whether the more experienced quarterback can will his team to the win. So that's really what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, I would say at the end, we should beat the snot out of these guys, man.
I hope so. But again, like I said, they're going to have a little bit of experience on us, and they did add a lot of talent. So, let's see how that.
Yeah, I mean, Kyler Murray's not going to want to be beaten by a rookie, so
No.
he's going to come out there and play ball. But again, I don't think they can roll with us. They shouldn't be able to.
5-3.
All right.
5-3.
6-2. I mean, 6-3. 6-3.
Right. My bad. 6-3. Wait, no. That's week 9, right?
That was week 9. Oh yeah. All right. That's 8. That's 8.
On,
My bad. I'm getting ahead of myself.
It's okay. 5-3. We're going into week 10, and in week 10, we're back at home. We take on the New England Patriots, and their record last year was just as abysmal, 4-13. So, what do you guys think about this matchup with the new look teams? Cuz you started off first this time.
The Patriots, they've got a lot of upgrades too, most notably at quarterback with Drake May, another guy who could have been the second best quarterback. It was kind of that debate behind Caleb of who's the best. So Drake May was the one that kind of had that momentum going into the year, and ended up getting picked 3rd overall, in fact. So
wait. What school did Drake May go to?
He was Trubisky's alma mater, NC.
Yeah, I'm not worried about quarterbacks from NC.
Yeah, everybody say that, but they say that May is he's a little different from Trubisky. He's got way more natural talent. So he didn't put up the best numbers, but it's NC, so who knows what happens there. But yeah, we'll see how the Patriots look behind this. They're a team that has done way less to kind of churn their roster and replace a lot of guys. They're doing it more the slow route through the draft, the same way the Bears did. So I think this is going to be a significantly weaker team than the ones that we're facing with the Cardinals and the Commanders, the other teams that have picked really high in the draft. So, I mean, they do have a new coach there. I think it's Gerard Mayo, the former linebacker, Super Bowl winner. So we'll see how he comes out and how he coaches and how he leads this team. But I think this is going to be a pretty easy dub.
Yeah, I'm not. You got a team in transition coming off a 4-win season with a brand new rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach.
That's literally been the case for the last 3 teams before this too.
Yeah. So I mean, literally,
Kyler Murray not being a rookie, but Yeah.
I mean, Kyler Murray's established, but really, we need to route this group of games. We just need to blow them through because it's going to get tough after that. And,
it would be very difficult.
The Patriots, there would be no excuse for us to lose to the Patriots here. There's literally the only team that should legitimately challenge us there is Arizona, and I don't think it's that much of a challenge. They've done a lot, but they haven't done. I don't think. I feel like they've done enough to compete with who we were last year, right? And I do not expect us to be the same team we were last year. So. We've just done a lot of the things that we needed to do. Offensive weapons, get somebody who can hike the ball and block. Just different. So there'd be no excuse, absolutely no excuse for them to hang with us.
I understand that. I will counter that as a team. I feel like we've made really huge strides in some areas, like our wide receiver. But in other areas, like the interior offensive line, we've done very little.
We've done a little.
Come on now, that's a very light investment at best.
It was a light investment, but we grabbed a guy that's got playoff experience and that with a really good team.
Yeah. We got,
you know what I'm saying,
guys, but that needle may not have moved as much as some people think it has. So on the defensive line and the offensive line, we still may struggle. And as we know, in the NFL, it starts up front.
In the trenches.
We really got to see how these trenches play before I can really get behind. Oh, this is a hugely resurgent Bears team. We should be better. I would be very upset if we weren't better, but if we aren't, then I know why.
Well, I'm not gonna disagree with that. I'm just saying that as far as the trenches are concerned, one, we weren't getting the ball hiked to the quarterback. It was getting to the vicinity, as Richard Pryor used to say. So, but it wasn't getting to him. So he'd have to go fetch the ball. This is not good. Secondly, just the pressure coming up the middle was bad. It just has to be better in the middle. And I think this guy is better than the guys leaving.
Then where are we at? You know what I'm saying? So like I understand, and I trust me, I would like for this to work, but I'm still concerned about that unit, both of those units, and they're the most important units on the team, and they have been the whole time. And
I'm not concerned about the defensive line. Everybody dogs our defensive line, but after the addition of Montez Sweat, I credit the defensive line with taking us from a below average team as far as turning over the ball. We ended up tied for first with San Francisco as far as interceptions, because we got like 16 interceptions after Sweat showed up. And I firmly believe it's because of his pressure, along with other guys, some rookies improving, that made that difference. I don't have, and we're the number one rush defense, and number one, number two, and like number four in different categories as far as rush defense in the NFL. That starts with the defensive line. So I'm not mad at our defensive line. The one thing we need to do better is we need to get better at sacking the quarterback. But if we're hitting the quarterback and making him throw picks and making him throw the ball fast, that's almost as good as a sack, sometimes better.
Now, I 100% agree with what you're saying, but we're way off topic. So let's talk about Week 11, the first division game, the Green Bay Packers, which is crazy.
Why is the first division game coming in Week 11?
Exactly.
Have some fun, man. I'm gonna have some fun. Time to have some fun. And
we're playing
the New England game kicks off three game homestand.
Yep, you breaking up, nephew.
11. It starts off the NFC North competition. Got 3 games straight. This will be the second of a 3-game homestand, and Green Bay will be coming to Chicago. Well, you guys think that year there was 9-8. Many feel we could have finished with a better than that, even though the team this previous season has seen them this season.
Oh man, that just died out again. You want to try that again?
I couldn't understand nothing you just said. Actually, it looked like he just dropped out.
We'll wait for him to come back. See
if
you can read it. We'll just edit that out. Yeah, we did get sidetracked on the trenches, but that's okay, man.
That's fine. That's fine. I just wanted to keep us moving.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear you guys. Was anybody talking?
Oh yeah, you just start over with the Green Bay portion, and I'll edit out the other stuff because you were breaking up.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, you're good. You're crystal clear.
Okay, cool. Week 11 is the second game of a 3-game homestand and the first game against NFC North competition. And we host the Green Bay Packers at home. And I know we're all going to be ready for that. Last year, they finished with a record of 9-8, beat us both games. Really wasn't too much close with them this previous season. But with our changes, with their changes, how do you guys think we're going to fare against the Green Bay Packers, our most despised enemies in the NFL, this season in 2024?
I'm pissed off. Okay. I'm tired of hearing Green Bay beat us. I'm tired of hearing Green Bay swept us. Look, this year, with the changes that we made, first of all, they made a lot of changes. They went out and drafted safeties, corners, because they know we're coming, and they want to get past Detroit. And they know we've got a phenomenal receiver corps. So they drafted, just like Detroit did, to block and handle our guys. But these guys are rookies. I don't think they can handle DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome, and everybody else that's going to be number 4 and 5. They can't handle our receiving corps. But they were a better team than us last year. And we need to flip that, man. We honestly, the statement games, if we win both of those, that's an enormous statement. But we have to at least split. And we have to start off by beating them at home. We have to take back Soldier Field. That's all I got.
I agree. What you think, cuz?
Yeah. To kind of piggyback off of what you said, I felt like a couple of years ago, when Ryan Poles had his first draft and he drafted Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker with his first 2 picks. That was in response to, Patrick Mahomes, I think, second Super Bowl at the time. Joe Burrow had emerged. Josh Allen was rolling. A lot of these offenses were really starting to take off, and that next generation of quarterbacks was really starting to show their stuff. And I thought Poles was getting ahead of the curve, drafting DBs now so that they could take that tough development period. And then by the time we're ready to compete, they'll be nice and seasoned. We won't be relying on rookies. The Packers didn't get that memo. So they're drafting their DBs now after we've got Keenan and Rome and DJ, and we just drafted Caleb, and we got Swift and Komet and Everett. And now we've got way too many guys for you to cover. Way too many guys.
We loaded.
We're locked and loaded, and our DBs are nice and seasoned and ready to roll. And I think we're going to tear them apart.
Oh,
I don't think they're ready for us.
I agree. I recall last year, if I'm not mistaken, the last game of the season, the biggest issue for us was being able to keep up with them as far as putting points on the board. And so I agree, if our defense can be consistent, at least to what it was last year, and continue to get better like we did after the addition of Sweat, I think we'll be just fine, because I feel like our offense should be exceptionally better than it was last year. And it's at home. And I never give the Packers a W against us anyway. I don't care what day of the week it is. I don't care who's on our team. I always got the Bears beating the Packers. That's just the way it's got to be.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, bottom line, when you talk about it, we held the Packers to 17, but we couldn't get offensive points.
Right.
We scored 9 or something. It was bad.
But
we held them to 17 the week before they went to Dallas and beat the vaunted Cowboys like they stole some. Would they drop 45 or 48 on Dallas?
Yeah.
But we held them to 17, and we were having a hard time scoring and really moving the ball. So I don't think they're not going to hold us to 9 or 10.
Right.
I say we're going to drop 24 on them. I think we get them.
I think so too. So we got the Green Bay Packers November 17th for our first NFC North matchup. We continue the homestand. So right now we're looking at what we say 7-3. So now that's week 11. So it should be 7-3 going into week 12. And then we continue in the NFC North again at home. We host the Minnesota Vikings, who last season had a 7-10 record. So with their new additions from the draft and free agents during the offseason, what do you see this competition looking like for another NFC North matchup with the Bears and the Vikings this season? Cuz let's start with you.
The Vikings roster is a little bit scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. Obviously they got Justin Jefferson, and then Jordan Addison tore it up even when Justin Jefferson was injured last year as the Vikings number 1. Now Jordan Addison's the number 2. Obviously Jefferson's back. They picked up Aaron Jones from Green Bay. So Aaron Jones has always been a nightmare for us, and that's difficult to deal with. And then they've now added some offensive line. They added a couple of guys on defense on the D line, but I mean, they lost a big loss for them was the DN.
Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, Danielle Hunter going to Texas. But on the whole, it seems like they got a whole roster except for the quarterback, and it's gonna really depend on what the young rookie JJ McCarthy can do, because I mean, you throwing to Justin Jefferson, man, just chuck it up there. You know, like how hard could it really be for him to succeed? So it's really going to depend on what that kid does. But the kid's been a winner everywhere he's gone. So I'm not going to sit here and count him out. But I do think that the Vikings have still have a really good team, a really good coach on offense and defense, and they're going to be competing, man. So we got to be ready for them.
This may be one of our best and most equal battles. You're dropping 2 rookie quarterbacks into teams that should be ready to go.
Yeah.
And don't forget they got TJ Hawkinson, so they got the tight end covered. I mean, but you know what? Let's hope that our team gives Rome some revenge. Right? That's what I want. I want the Bears to Rome to really be a part of the fabric of this team. And I want the Bears to go out there and march through them like the Roman Legion and really just give him some revenge against JJ McCarthy, man.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. That's what I want. I want them to have that attitude that, okay, You went down in the national championship to these guys, but it's your turn. I want Rome to have his coming out party this week. I want Rome to go ahead and get a 2-touchdown, 150-yard game while we are stomping these boys. That's what I want. I want Caleb to have. He didn't have his opportunity to play Jay McCarthy in the national championship because UCLA just wasn't that good. I want Caleb to get that W over JJ. Yeah, we need to take this. We need to take the battle of the tough teams with rookies being dropped in, because McCarthy's being dropped into a sweet position.
Yeah,
It's a sweet position.
he
He's
is.
got a true number one, a true number two.
He's got a line. He's got Christian Darrisaw at that left
Man.
tackle. He's got
Lucky
studs
Smith.
everywhere. Aaron Jones in the backfield. Hawkinson at TE.
He doesn't have any excuses to lose. None.
No.
If he loses,
And he's got a great
it's
coach.
his fault.
And he's got a great offensive coach that was having freaking Josh Dobbs out here terrorizing the league.
Exactly. He had 3 guys near 1,000 yards each with
And people don't know how
whoever he could find a quarterback that week.
people don't know how athletic JJ McCarthy is too. He ain't Justin Fields, but he's quick. He's quick. So, he can escape, he can create on the move. And he's really smart. He's really smart. So we'll see how that kid, works in that offense with those phenomenal playmakers all around him. And if he does well, it's going to be tough to beat those guys.
Got you. Well, me personally, I agree. I don't think the Bears. I don't have us taking any sweeps this year in any NFC North teams. So this game being the home game against Minnesota, as competitive as they may be, I'm going with my Bears through week 12. I'm saying 8-3 before we hit the road again to go play the NFC North defending champions, the Detroit Lions, in week 13. So the Lions finished last year. Of course, they won the division at 12-5. Did actually really good, went a long way, and actually had a good battle with the San Francisco 49ers, who ended up winning the conference. So what do you guys think this year this is going to look like? Because we beat them the last game of last season with our full roster, with guys that were hurt early on when we played them, came back in the final game and we won, and they were the division winners. So how do you feel that bodes for us this year with the updates to both teams?
Can I take this one? Can I take this one first? Go real quick, because I just want to say, going back to feudal times, there was this concept that some people depend on you for survival, right? And they were called vassals, okay? And I just want to say that Detroit is Chicago's vassal state, okay? We own them. They pay tribute to us every year. Every time that they try to come out and say, oh, we're a good team, even when we're bad, we beat the crap out of them for 55 of the 60 minutes that we play, right? And then we came back and just dominated them for the full 60 minutes for game 2. So that was when they were at their peak, and we still hadn't gotten back to treading water. We had just been in a dogfight with the Carolina Panthers the week before, and we came out and stomped the mess out of those guys, right? Or a cat fight, whatever you want to call it. But the point is, I'm never scared of the Detroit Lions ever at any point, and I never will be. Bears dub. Easy.
Hey, I'm going to go back to some old hip hop, and I'm going to just grab some lyrics. So I was outside of the club, and the Lions thought we were punks. So I rolled up to my Chevy. I popped the trunk.
Yeah.
We ain't never scared of these guys.
We ain't never scared.
Never scared.
Bone crusher, yeah. I'm actually
we ain't never scared. When we get on that field, we're going to crush them bones. We're going to crush them bones.
We always do.
The Lions are a good team. No argument.
Absolutely.
They went all the way to the NFC Championship and coughed it up. Lions went out and got a bunch of defensive backs to try to handle this. But, man, people couldn't handle when we just had DJ Moore and a depleted Darnell Mooney and EQ.
Which is
now
crazy.
We've got DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome. Rome could be a number 1 in the NFL. We effectively might have 3 number 1s. This may be the greatest passing offense Chicago has ever seen.
Man, I'm ready for it. And
I
agree with you.
Their top 2 picks. They drafted Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. And those guys are going to come in, and they're going to be, both of them could have been first round picks this year. They're that good. So, they may make a difference in a couple of years. But right now they're about to get put in a blender.
Exactly.
The rookies, even if they're good rookies, you're going against DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, and they're Robin, their little freaking Batgirl, whoever is freaking Roma Dunze.
Yeah,
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 he's gonna
yeah.
kill it, man. I know he is.
In college, you last year,
And you're not even discussing Cole
So,
Kmet.
Right.
Kmet can go off and have a 2-touchdown, 3-touchdown game.
Yeah,
Easy.
we've seen it.
So, yeah, man, the Lions have never had a number that we don't also have. So, I'm not worried about them. We got their number every day of the week, twice on Sunday, and freaking 3 times on Sunday.
Now let me just recap this. This will be beautiful because coming out of the bye week, we've got Washington, Arizona, New England, which we should be able to get through. If we're able to win the first 3 games of NFC North division competition, we're putting ourselves in real good shape. We'll be going into week 14, I believe, with that record to be 9-3 to see the San Francisco 49ers. So we'll see them on the road in San Francisco. And of course, last season with the conference winners, and their record was 12-5. What do you see this matchup looking like this year? Uncle, start this one with you.
Wow. Well, first of all, this is the matchup on our schedule for us. This is it. This is a team that's better and tougher than the Texans. The Texans are going to be a tough match. This is the litmus test of our entire season. How we stack up, these guys have not backed down. They're reloading as they have over and over again through the history of this franchise. And recently, I mean, you think back, Patrick Mahomes' first Super Bowl win was back against the 49ers, right? These guys keep reloading and getting there. They're trying to break through and get some more Super Bowl victories. They still have an entire squad, top to bottom. Brock Purdy comes out of nowhere when we thought they were quarterbackless. Man, tough team to deal with, and this is a litmus test. This tells us whether if we compete with them, if we're within 3 to 7 points of these guys, I'd say our rebuild is done. We're ready. We're ready. I mean, we don't do badly. We don't stack up badly against them because we're a physical running team also. And we've beaten them times when we shouldn't have. And because we're a physical running team, we're built similar to them. And now we have the weapons to go up against them. This is going to be a test of our run defense. Are we still a top run defense? And will we be in shape? I think I'm going to say this game comes down to injuries. Are we healthy? Is Sweat out there? Is our linebacking core healthy? You're going to have to deal with Christian McCaffrey. I like our safety position. Are our cornerbacks healthy? That defense has to be healthy to beat these guys. If our defense isn't healthy, we're in trouble. And if our offensive line isn't healthy, we're in trouble. We don't have any depth on offensive line. We need to be out there with our starters, and they need to play ball. So I think, I'd be satisfied if we proved that we were worthy. Last year, I sat out in Kansas City and watched us prove we were nowhere near a playoff team because we got beat like we stole something from somebody's grandmother. And this is the other Super Bowl team. We need to prove we're worthy.
All right. What you got, guys?
Yeah, so I mean, as always, whenever we're talking about the Niners, I just love when we beat them. Just for personal reasons. Joe, you're great, but the 49ers suck. They lost the Super Bowl, and teams can sometimes have quite a hangover after a Super Bowl loss. So we'll see what 49ers team we get coming out of this. It can be tough for a team to recover. Some teams don't. But the 49ers are consistently deep in the playoffs. That just speaks to the type of coaching they have, the type of organization and culture they have. So it's always going to be tough. Regardless of whether they have a good record, they're going to be a tough team. They're going to play us tough. And I like a lot of their players. I like a lot of their philosophies and scheme. And I think they're probably the toughest team we're going to face all year. Let's be real. I like their draft. Ricky Pearsall, I thought, was really underrated coming out of Florida. He's like a combination of Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson in terms of like making those incredible grabs like Jefferson, but also having the insane like shiftiness and acceleration like Kupp does. So he's a tough cover, and he's going to be their third receiver coming in behind Debo and Ayuk, which and then Kittle as well. So that's a nasty four-headed monster at wideout. So they can definitely stretch us thin in the secondary. And then Isaac Guerrero just adds to their stable of running backs. I really like him. Obviously, they've obviously got the superstars like Bosa and Christian McCaffrey, and Jesus, man, it never stops with the 49ers. It makes you wonder how they fit it all under the cap. But yeah, man, it's tough to look at our team and say that I expect us to win this one. Let's be real. Honestly, I expect them to be better than us, especially if we're this late in the season. Injuries, like you said, Uncle might have taken their toll. This one might be tough to win. So.
And that's all right. That's all right. Coming off of a nice stretch of wins, that shouldn't be too bad. We'll be looking like with the record we've discussed about 9-4, coming out of week 14 against the 49ers. And then we're right back to division ball again. And we're on the road week 15 against the Minnesota Vikings. One more time, we'll see them. And of course, we know we just discussed that matchup. So what do you guys think will be the difference when we go play them at home?
Hey,
are we winning 2 or are we winning 1?
Hey, we've gotta wipe these guys, man. We gotta win this division. I mean, look, if we can, we need to beat Minnesota twice. Even if we split with the Lions and split with the Packers, if we beat Minnesota twice, we put ourselves in a position to win this division because everybody else is going to have the same problem. It's 4 tough teams. So you got to beat somebody twice. If we beat the Lions twice already, but you got 4 tough teams, and man, if we can take them down, if we take anybody down twice, we need to take the Vikings down twice.
I'm with you. Vision ball, got to come to play ball. Cuz, what you think?
I just seconding what he's saying. Like, it's going to be a dogfight in the NFC North, and I really want to beat everybody twice. Frankly, I want us to sweep, but it's harder to do that than it is to say it. So, I think with the team where it's at, with our team, we haven't really, put our claws around this division yet. But beating the Vikings twice would be the first step to saying that we're about to do that. Making sure that we're on top of the rebuilding team and rookie quarterback heap in this division, because the other 2 teams, they're not really rebuilding. They're not starting over with rookies. They got veteran quarterbacks. We need to be ahead of the team that's in our shoes, and if we can sweep them, that really says that we are.
I agree.
Get the broom out.
There you go. I got it. That's what I'm saying. I think Minnesota, and of course it's hard to beat a team twice. You play a team twice, it's a lot different. You got a second game, you got a chance to make your adjustments. You know what you're looking for. But I think that's, like you said, if you're coming to win a division, if you're trying to change the culture of what's going on, I definitely think this is a game we need to get 2 of. But quite frankly, I think that of course, like we say, of course we want to get sweeps against all these teams. Maybe Green Bay might be a little tough. Minnesota's even tough. But I feel like if we can beat a team, once we establish our dominance, if we can do that, especially like you're referring to how we looked against Detroit at the end of last year, now we've upgraded our team. I feel like some of these teams, when you surpass them, you just need to leave them behind you. So hopefully that first game we play against Minnesota will be the tail of the tape, and that'll really let us know if they're actually able to compete with us. But 2 games there, I think, is nice. We will be coming out of week 15, going into week 16, looking something like 10 wins and 4 losses, which would be amazing. And then in week 16, we'll be back on the road, back at home, and we will be playing Detroit, the Detroit Lions, at home in Soldier Field. That will be just before Christmas, December 22nd. What do you think the second matchup with Detroit will look like? This is where I got my sweep coming from, because the way they looked last year at the end of the season, I think we've gotten better, and I think we're just going to continue to create distance between us and the Detroit Lions. Even though I think they're a good team, they went the furthest, they won the division. But like you said, cuz, I think we have their number, and I think we're going to continue to have it. What do you all think?
I'm gonna tell you, I still gonna be outside of the club.
Yeah, you got to.
They might think we're punks.
Man, I don't think they can. They got to beat us
Man,
first to think that.
man, they have to beat us. Man, come on. We need to beat these guys. This is taking the North. This is taking the North. You have to beat the low hanging fruit. We have their number. We
Absolutely.
have their number. We have to beat them.
Can we sweep 2 teams in our division the same year? Hasn't
If
been done.
we do,
What, 2006?
if we do, we're in the top 4 in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. I mean,
Our division
I
like
don't,
that.
man. I just want always look. All I'm asking for is sweep one team. Honestly, sweep
Mhm.
one team in the
My team is
division
Detroit.
and split with the others. That you got the dice in the game to win the division.
I
Right.
like it. I like it.
And you don't want to be the team that gets booted out of the playoffs because your division is really good, because that happens too. Sometimes somebody gets left out because when you have 4 good teams in the division,
Can't
2
all
of them could end up not making the playoffs because the other 2 teams are putting losses. You're putting losses on each other, and your record's not great, but you're actually good teams.
Right.
Kind of like the Giants that ended up going all the way from the wild card and beating the Patriots. It wasn't that they were a bad team in a tough division and had to claw like dogs to get through it. And they kind of snuck in the playoffs, but then they never lost again.
Right.
So we do I expect to win all of them? No, but doggone it, this is a Lions. We
Right.
own the Lions.
We owe the Lions.
Bear
Right.
versus a Lion, shred it.
And I'm not gonna lie. For me, part of it becomes psychological, because when you win your division and then you lose to a team like the Bears, who had the struggles that we had last season. To me, we go into that game, both those games, especially if we win the first one, extremely confident, and I'm not sure that they are. Because, like I said, they didn't beat us with an inferior team that we had, and we're just getting better. So they may also know that we have their number, and that psychologically might actually play an advantage to us. I actually see the Lions being the team out of our division. If we do only sweep one, I believe it'll be the Lions, because I really believe we have the number. So either way, coming out of that week, if we're anywhere what we're saying with these games, we're looking at 10-5, 11-4, 10-5 going into week 17, where we interrupt the divisional matchups just for a moment to come back home and host the Seattle Seahawks, who last year finished with a record of 9-8 as well. How do you guys see that game going to throw a little monkey wrench in the division action right as the season's coming to an end?
The Seahawks are a weird team, man. They're objectively a good unit.
Great receiver core.
Geno Smith has been good in his resurgence with them, putting up real quarterback numbers, 4,000 yards, whatever, 30 touchdowns. They've really great receivers, Lockett and DK Metcalf. They got really great running backs with Charbonnet, and then what's the fast cat that they got? I'm blanking on the name, but Kenneth Walker. There you go. Kenneth Walker, excellent running back as well. Now they got good tackles. They drafted 2 really great tackles. Their defense has been their kind of downfall, but they're now, investing in that in the draft. And but they're in one of the toughest divisions of football out there in the NFC West. And the 49ers run that division. The Rams are never uncompetitive. So the Seahawks end up kind of being this middling team, and you don't know if they're going to beat you. You don't know how good they are, but they're probably not going to be a threat in the playoffs because they're probably not getting out of their division. Right. So they're one of those teams, like you were just saying, where the other teams put losses on them and then they kind of miss out, but they can be some really tough teams. And this late in the season with veteran leadership, they could be a real threat to put an L on us in a game, in the middle of a sandwich of division games and the 49ers and all that. So that could be a tough one. That could be a tough one that we don't see coming.
What you got?
Yeah, that's a scary game. Okay, they know Shane Waldron. They know his offense. It's just there's no guarantees on that, man. There's no guarantees on that. That, like you said, that's and it's coming right in the middle of all this divisional work, and the guys are going to be fighting their hearts out for the divisional work, which they should be. Yeah, that's a gotcha game. And again, Seattle, great receiver core. Justin's old teammate, this is that's a tough team. That team can accidentally be on top of its division.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it could, and you wouldn't be shocked.
Right.
I think that team, does Geno have another 4,000 year in him? If he does, they're dangerous, and they might have us.
Yeah.
No. Bears, not. I mean, yeah, I got you. I look at it like, hey, if we're able to be this competitive to the end of the season, we're still looking at 11-5. I think we say 11-5 about by the last week.
I think we lost him again.
Oh, well, he'll have to reload.
He'll be back in a sec.
All right, when he comes back.
Uh-huh.
Tag up for week 18. Green Bay Slackers.
Yeah, slackers. Are we really just going to pick ourselves to go 6-0 in the division?
Yes.
Right? Why not?
Hey, if you go 6-0 in this division, you can start doing the Super Bowl shuffle. Because I mean, who else has gotten the? I mean, even with our division versus who else in the NFC can even discuss being in the playoffs and be serious? I mean, outside of our division and the the Seahawks and 49ers and
the Rams, the Niners, the Seahawks, the Eagles, the Cowboys.
There's an NFC East.
Could.
NFC East can come out, but
You got an argument for the Falcons. You got an argument for the Packers. You got an argument for Detroit and Minnesota. Honestly,
the
you got an argument
Falcons.
for the Bears. Yeah, dude. They didn't have a bad. They had a top 10 defense last year, and they added Kirk Cousins, Darnell Mooney, freaking. I mean, the Michael Penix pick was weird, but if Cousins gets hurt, then they'll be really happy to have him. You know what I'm saying?
Still rolling.
Yeah. So Falcons could be a sneaky playoff team. They probably win that division. The NFC South is weak, but the West is strong, the East is strong, and the North is strong. So honestly, the NFC is quietly becoming just as competitive as the AFC.
Hey, you want to know
Patrick Mahomes at the top? You know
why did Souls drop out during the Packers part? The Packers are beating. We're talking Bears right now.
I know.
Did he call
water?
This is just nuts. Hey, you coming back? We're waiting on you to finish. You dropped. It was the Packers again. Every time the Packers come up, they're beating us. The Packers are beating the Bears. We're talking Bears. All right, I see you coming up. All right, just go ahead and introduce the Packers week.
Okay. Following the Seattle game, win or lose, that still puts us around 11-5, I believe. On the
No way.
I think we'll have to do this part without him.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead. So following that game, we'll be 11-5, and man, that would be a great position. Rolling into Green Bay, heading up to the frozen tundra, and I think that at that point it's going to be 100% based on how Swift, Herbert, and Roshan can handle them, right? So if Swift, Herbert, and Roshan can handle those guys, and we run all over them, hey, I think we get it done.
Okay. And I like that because that would mean that we sweep the whole division. That would be great. So
That's abundant life.
Meatball takes. Let's go. So but no, in all seriousness though, we'll be rolling into the playoffs. We're probably competing this game. We're probably fighting for it. And we definitely want to see us come out of this with the dub, with the momentum, with the playoff position potentially. a couple of home games in that playoff stretch. That's what we want to see come out of this. And that it would be a really important win. It would be a really statement game to take the Packers down and in the season. And it would push our momentum into the playoffs. It would push us towards competition, and it would make sure that everybody knew that we had sent a message to the division at the end of this year that this is our division now, and y'all got to come through us.
We're taking the North.
Taking the North.
We're taking the North. So running the rock and in the cold of the frozen tundra. Here's the danger side. Just you got to be. I mean, they improved their run game with Josh Jacobs. And so this is going to be a war. We need to walk in there with the number one run defense and prove that we're the number one run defense. We need to not give up that stature of being a top run defense. We've got to. You got Demo in Detroit. You got Aaron in Minnesota. And you got Josh in Green Bay. And when it's cold and outside in the North, in the NFC North, you got to stop the run. If you can't stop the run, you're going to lose.
I agree. Right. These guys trying to hack my signal, man. They in Green Bay, they hear we're talking Bears, and they're trying to spy on our conversations. Man, they thought they were going to do something to stop us, but ain't nothing stopping the Bear down 2024. We're going to end the season on a high note. We'll be plus 10 wins. That's my prediction, and we're going to be dangerous, and we will win our division. We will make the playoffs. Mark my words.
All right. Well, I'm Uncle.
I'm Nephew.
I'm Son.
And we're talking Bears. Bear down.